So, now that we know we've got fabulous assets to put together beautiful booths, I want to bring to the stage 2-star VPs who have really put a lot of work into understanding what is the best way to do an event. Because we don't want to go to an event and walk away with a list of people that we're going to have to follow up with who won't remember you and you aren't going to remember who they are. They have really worked hard at discovering the best way to walk away with customers, brand new customers. So I want to ask you to stand up and give a standing ovation to our 2-star VP, Elka Bostwick, and 3-star VP, Amber Sanders.
Okay. This is going to be tricky. We're going to have to be over here. Can you believe we're up here by ourselves?
I can't believe they left us up here.
What
should we talk about?
I think they're expecting
Are they?
one
so
thing.
We shouldn't dance or sing or do anything like that?
I don't know. Maybe we'll surprise you all.
Oh, my gosh. We are so excited to be up here, guys, and I cannot even believe it.
Okay.
We have decided that when life gives you pawTree, we want you guys to turn it into an opportunity of a lifetime and talk about it. So can you guys guess, obviously, what we're going to be talking about today is we're very excited to be here. So let's talk a little bit about what we know about vendor events.
So first of all, people are going to be coming to you for a change.
You're going to be walking away with new sales volume.
You'll be helping more pets.
And you will be meeting more people and building more relationships that last a long time.
You'll be fueling brand recognition in your local area as well.
And you guys are going to all be a part of, and you guys already are a part of, making pawTree a household name.
But most of all, we are all going to be changing more pets' lives, more people's lives. So this is what we're excited to talk to you about today, is how to meet new people and turn them into a customer in about 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm. It's pretty simple. Are you guys ready? So it's time to get out there and start having conversation and practicing your words. Amber and I are so excited to be up here today. Vendor events didn't happen without a lot of trial and error. In fact, there was a few times that I came home and I was crying to poor Brad, and he'd have to listen to me sob for hours because things didn't go the way that I wanted to. But many of these amazing pet pros on the slide, and there was lots of pet pros that we couldn't fit on the slide, helped us to get to where we're at today through the trial and error. So we're very exciting. This is such a powerful story, and we truly believe that this is a way that you guys can go out, build your businesses, and change the lives of more pets and people. We truly are creating a world filled with unconditional love where pets and their people thrive.
Okay, so before we go any farther, how many of you experienced any of these things? So you're excited, you set up an event, you're getting all ready, you're spending valuable time, maybe you're traveling, but you're definitely investing in this event that you're excited to go do. And then you come away from this event that you've so excitedly prepared for, and your bags of treats are gone, samples are gone, you have 0 orders, maybe just a couple orders, and you have lots of follow-ups, or maybe just a few, maybe none. Every vendor event is a little bit different, but how about all of the above? How many, Elka and I have been there, done that. So the second thing that I wanted to highlight is, hang on, I've got to look at my notes. Okay, I want us all to remember this. So when you do a vendor event, you are going to feel inadequate. You are going to trip over your words sometimes. You're going to be thinking when someone walks away, I can't believe I just said that, There are these times that you're going to feel like, I don't even feel like I know what I'm doing right now. You're going to have people walk away and say no. You are going to have some great days. You're going to have some not so great days. But we can promise you this. You are also you're going to have people purchase. You're going to have people join your team. You will know what to say. You will know how to say it. You're going to get better and better the more of these you do. And that's what we've experienced. And many of you in the audience have experienced the exact same thing. The other thing that I feel like is really important is you're going to be able to train your team to do the same thing. And we'll talk a little bit more about that later.
So all of you guys have the vendor event declarations in front of you. Amber and I spent a lot of time together. I mean, we had to work really hard on this presentation. And as we were going, it was funny because we noticed that most of these things that you will read on the petPro declarations are exactly what you're going to experience. And so make a promise to yourself, read these. This is a mindset. It's truly crazy, but that thing that sits between your 2 ears is one of the most powerful tools you're going to have. And there's a lot of conversations you're going to have to start having to become more confident, to be able to get out there and really believe in our products truly can change the lives of pets. So take that with you to every vendor event. In fact, put it in your vendor event Bible.
Okay, so I switched the slide because it was supposed to be numbered correctly. And on my end it is, so I don't know, but this is going to be a surprise for all of us. Okay, so this is our pawTree, our doors. If we were to have a brick and mortar shop, this is maybe what it would look like. And a vendor event is the closest thing where you may get to that. But people come to a vendor event with the intent to buy, and we are going to talk a little bit more about that. But first of all, Elka, tell us about...
It's time to open the doors to your pawTree business. If you guys ever wanted, raise your hand if you guys ever wished that you had a pawTree storefront where people would just walk in and buy hundreds and hundreds of dollars of pawTree. Well, let me tell you, it's time to open the doors to your vendor event booth and really get that opportunity to do that. And one of the first things that we've discovered that most of you already do is it's important to set goals. Set goals if you're going by yourself for your own personal PV. Set goals for your team. Set goals like new Paw Club members. How many new Paw Club members do you want as a team? How much new PV do you want? How many new team members do you want to bring home with you? The goals that you set are going to help you to stay focused and give you the courage to ask. Because we've discovered if you don't ask for the sell, you're not going to make a sell. It's just how it is. One of the things that I learned from Tammy Van Hoy on one of the trainings a long time ago was called just ask them. They could say yes, they could say no. Both answers are right because it's up to them, but the question is up to you.
Okay, so now we've talked about setting goals. And the second part to that is choosing your event. Think about, what kind of person do you want to connect with? What kind of person do you relate to? Where do you, what associations do you already have that can provide that opportunity for you to come set up a shop and share pawTree? You can do think about this. Think about multiple day events and think about multiple like repetitive events like weekly. Those we have found are really valuable because it gives you an opportunity to share samples and then have people come back to you with interest in buying because of their experience that they've had. So think of that. The other thing that you want to think about is, in reality, anytime you're at a place where you can have more conversations about pawTree. And now we have so many more reasons to share because we have 3 new products and some fun new toys. But wherever you're having conversations about pawTree, that is exactly where you are supposed to be. So the other thing, too, I feel that this has contributed a lot to the success of my team. Is the fact that when you do a vendor event, Elka and I have both talked about how it's really powerful to make it a team event. Invite your team. And there are a few reasons for that. One of them is you can't get a better training opportunity. I have seen multiple times petPros that, they may not know the products. They may be brand new. They just aren't quite sure what to say, when to say it, how to say it, what questions to ask. And so when you're there together, they learn really fast. I've seen petPros that have zero confidence to start, and then all of a sudden they have, they're excited to do it again. They have a better idea. So it's a great training opportunity and a great team building opportunity as well. So keep that in mind. Definitely bring your team. And what have we talked about? We've talked about don't do anything alone.
Ever. Don't ever do anything alone because the best experience that you can have and the best experience you can do with your team is to literally have the experience of hands-on training. Just like we always ask our new petPros to set up their own first Easy Ship and do it with them, this is the hands-on experience that you get to share with your team. And if you don't have a local team, you get to build a team. But maybe there's somebody else in your local area where you can call them up that's not on your team. Maybe they're a sideline. Say, hey, come with me. Let's practice together.
So that is your new excited petPro right there.
Right there. If you guys haven't, go back and check out the vendor events table. But we have come up with some vendor event must-haves, some things that you don't have to have. It doesn't have to be big and elaborate. But some of the things that we recommend is always having a table and a tablecloth. You must have the Picky Eater sign. Amber Sanders was absolutely a genius the day I saw this at her first vendor event. I called her up and I said, where do I get one? She was a genius because we're in the business of sorting customers, not convincing that they need to buy. And we'll talk a little bit more about this. You must have paw pairings. And another thing, you must have bifocals at your vendor event. If you don't use them, you have to take them. And here is why. Because there's ingredients on the back of the paw pairings. People can't read them when you ask them to. Hand them. So you're going to need bifocals. You're going to want to take products that you're passionate about. We've talked a lot about the stories, right? Talk about the stories of the salmon oil, the stories of the joint support. Take products that you're happy about, because the more you can talk about those, the more sales that you will have. You must have the sales sheet binder. Oh, yeah. And if you haven't, go check it out on break. See all of the new exciting tools. Vanna White. But what's great is they've updated all of the sales sheets. They have all of the transition guides, just like Trisha and Krista had talked about. You don't have to be an expert. You just have to use the tools that we put in front of you. You always must have your phone or a tablet or even a computer. You must have the quick order guide. We'll tell you about that in a minute. And dress your best. Remember, you're representing your own business, but you're also representing all of us. So whatever your best dress is, show up and represent yourself proudly. And bring your team. You must bring your team.
Okay, so this is something I really love. I love problem solving and observing things and trying to figure out why we're experiencing what we're experiencing. So this is probably, what slide do you relate to on this when you think about sharing pawTree? It can vary. It depends on your mood, your day, your past experience 5 minutes ago, or, it can change throughout the day. But you might be feeling like, oh man, this is so tough. Or you could be feeling, hopefully you can all relate to the right slide. I just love the Fox and the Hound when I was a little girl. I thought it was the sweetest story ever. But there are some common stages that we've noticed about petPros when they go into a vendor event. And I hope you can relate to these. Okay, so think of this. This is before the vendor event. I'm going to make 100 sales. I'm going to sign up like 10 new petPros, and it's going to be so fun. Everyone's going to want to order. I actually thought that. The first vendor event I ever did with my mom, we drove overnight to Colorado, and Trisha met us there. She flew in. Oh, yeah, this was a lot of money. And we had a stack of 8.5 by 11s, and we were truly like, that was a printer error, by the way. So we were like, let's give them to everyone. We were like, go to our website, giving out treats like crazy. And then we went back to the hotel, and we watched our back office. And guess what happened? Nothing.
How many of you guys have watched your back office and waited for the numbers to roll in? Oh, yeah, we can all attest for that.
And my favorite is this conversation. My husband comes to me and says, how did it go? Good. Yeah. How many sales did you make? They're coming.
They're on their way. Just
and he's like, patient. And how much did you spend on this?
Yeah.
Trisha flew there.
Don't worry about it. They're coming.
Yeah,
we got
they're
this.
Coming. Yeah. So that's the before, and then the during. The thing that leads to the nothing happening is, and we're going to talk more about this later. But we will say things like, well, yeah, you can buy. You don't have the confidence you need, and then you're like, would you rather have a sample?
There you go.
Yeah. So throw in those
talk
samples.
Yourself out of the cell and right into the sample.
Yeah, so the stages are before. I'm so excited, I can't wait. During. Hey, would you rather have a sample? Go to my website. Here it is. And then the third one is afterward. You're like, man, that probably wasn't worth my while. Mm-hmm. So that's what we see a lot of times, but we have been able to change that. And I know a lot of you petPros out there have experienced the same thing. So we're going to talk about the psychology of a vendor event customer, because there is a pattern to it that we noticed. So first of all, people come to an event. Imagine yourself, going to a fair, going to a farmer's market, whatever it may be. People come to these events because they're with the intent to buy. They come with cash in their pocket. Mm-hmm. They're looking for something new. They're looking for something interesting. They're looking for something maybe they've never seen before. Maybe they're looking for something to eat, like ice cream. But they're coming to buy something. And then the other part of this is they want instant gratification. So think about when you go to a vendor event, they want to be able to say, I want that, give your money, and then they take whatever it is, they put it in their bag and they walk away. Or if it's ice cream, they're like going to eat it right away, right? Yeah. So it's instant gratification they're looking for. So I want to highlight paw pairings really quickly. So paw pairings in our vendor event practices, yes. I'll say, they fulfill both of those things. Mm-hmm. So when we, on our slide, that's why we highlighted paw pairings as the bare minimum, and this is why. So, so you're a brand new petPro, you don't have anything to invest in, and you're like, okay, I'm just going to focus on the paw pairings. I think that's a great, that's a great starting point, because with the paw pairings, it's interesting. It's new. Nobody has ever seen that before. Everyone can use it. We, a lot of us know that list of what the paw pairings can do for somebody that hasn't ever seen them before. But the second part is we have samples. So someone purchases from you, and you can say, oh, here, have some paw pairing samples to get you through until you get your order. Maybe they ordered something different. Here's some paw pairing samples. Here's some treat samples. Add treat samples into that, so you're multi-lining what their experience is. So paw pairings fulfill those two things. I feel like that's one of the very, very important strategy to helping those people feel happy and have a great experience when they come to see you.
And you guys will also notice that all of the new event signs, they're all about paw pairings. It's the one thing, or one category, that we really want to take it and say, this is ours. Paw pairings are ours. We are the original pet food seasonings.
Yeah. So there's one other thing that I want to, that we talked about and we both agreed to. Yeah. So the picture on the right with Todd and Copper.
Actually, it's left.
Oh.
On the other side. That's our right. It's opposite.
Right.
Yep. Sorry.
Okay. Todd and Copper. Think of finding new people as a treasure hunt. So who is going to be your next best customer? Who's going to be your next leader and rising star? You never know. So think of it as a treasure hunt. Don't think of it, and Melissa, I remember a talk you gave, you had this similar analogy, but think of it as, who's that next best friend? Who am I going to meet? I love how Kim Hughes, she says, I'm off to meet new people. It's really, really, have that be your mentality for sure.
So one of the other things that we talked a lot about was body language. There's some really cool things that probably a lot of us don't always think about, but when we're standing out there, body language can be extremely powerful. Within 7 seconds of somebody approaching your table, they're going to instantly see what kind of person you are. It's just how it is. So one of the things you really want to do, number one, is always introduce yourself. Hi, I'm Joe Wilkins. It's really important that they see you. You make eye contact. Eye contact is so important. It helps that one person to think that they are the only person at the vendor event, and it makes them feel empowered and very special. They get 100% of your attention. Facial expressions. If you're standing there and you're just like, oh, this is so boring. Nobody is talking to me or approaching my table. People are going to walk right by. It's really important that you always have an opening and welcoming smile and make people want to come in. Never stand like this. It's intimidating. Never lean on your table as if you're bored. People aren't going to want to approach you. Welcome people into your booth. It's very important.
And what about the phones?
What?
The phones.
Oh, yes. Don't stand on your phone. Put your phone down. Interact with people. The phones don't make you money. The people make you money. Just remember that. The other thing is be confident. You have to be You guys believe in the products, right? You guys believe in the company, right? Now it's really time for you to believe in yourself. You can do this. You have to believe in your team. And it's important for you, if you're going to bring your team, that they need to see that you have the competence to represent yourself and believe in the products and do what we do best, help change the lives of pets. And here's a fun thing. Brad doesn't even know I do this. But before I go to a vendor event, you get nervous, just like standing on this. And Amber didn't notice it in the back, but there's a very powerful thing that you can do to help boost your confidence prior to a vendor event. It's the power pose. No matter what you do or where you're at, when you stand like this, it gives you more confidence that you ever could believe to make it possible. And I do this before my vendor events. I don't do it in front of my table. Hey, I have superfoods. I do this because it helps me to feel more confident with myself. It's very important.
So if I stand like this the whole time,
yeah.
I'll be better up here.
Just stand like this.
Chillax.
Not yet.
Ooh.
That's after.
Oh, I love it. Okay, so now we're going to focus on team really quickly. Where are San Diego Pet Pros? Where are you? Woo! Okay, so and then what about our Utah Pet Pros that have done vendor events? Okay, so these two groups of people are where I have done big group vendor events, and we've learned a few things. So here's some tips if you're going to bring your team and make it a team event. So we found the first one we did, our poor Utah area petPros, we did an event. I invited everybody, and everyone's like, there are too many of us here, and they're like, oh. I mean, they were great. It was great. We came up with some things to do. But then we went to the San Diego area. It was actually Orange County, and there were a lot of petPros again. And so we were like, okay, we have to have a strategy for this because your vendor event table is only this big, and then there's like 6 of you.
Power posing.
That doesn't really, that power posing and blocking all these awesome signs that we now have. So that doesn't really work. So this is what we figured out. So if you have a lot of petPros in a booth, don't feel like, oh gosh, this is never going to work out. You get to work together. Yay. Okay, so this is how you do it. Sit behind your table. Why do you think we sit behind the table? People have got to see what you have, or they're going to walk on by because they can't see it. So, yes, sit behind your table. And also, what if there are 10 of us out front and we're like standing here? Is that intimidating? They're going to be like, okay, these people are going to swoop down on me, and I am not going to be able to escape.
It's like a car, ever gone and bought a car? You don't want to be a car salesman.
Yes. So this is what we found. Sit behind your table, and then as people approach your booth, one person will go up. And they'll start talking about that person. Someone else approaches. Someone else will go up. In San Diego, we practiced moving to the side. If they're, so you're not blocking everything if you can, and if you're not discussing products and showing them things. So that's a little bit of a tip that you can take away, as well as how many of you have 2 people approach the booth, and this one person is bored out of their mind, and this other person is excited, and you can see this person like trying to drag the other person away.
We don't want to talk to them. Come on.
Right, like I know that I'll be here for 15 minutes because you love your dog so much, and I don't want to be here. You know what I mean? So we've experienced that. So one person will talk to the person engaged. Another team member can come around and make conversation. Why are you here? Where are you from? That kind of stuff. So that's really a great thing to help because really we're trying to make a sale in 5 minutes or less sometimes. The other thing too is we talked about don't blocking your display. Another thing you can do is you can have petPros go out into the crowds. And what we did is we got a canvas bag. We put paw pairings in it. Ashley and I did this a few times. We even made a couple sales while we were out. It was pretty cool. And hold paw pairing seasonings in your hands. We had people approach us and say, what are those and where did you get them? Other times we'd make conversation with the vendors, with the people there. And we would say, go find the green booth. Go look for the green tablecloth in this building. And people, guess what? They did come. They came, and we made a few sales that way as well. So those are some tips as far as making this a team event, supporting your team. And I just have to give Amy Stratton a shout out. Yesterday, they did a vendor event booth before they flew out here, and she said our goal was to get Brittany her 100 new PV because she wanted that higher commission before we went to Pawfest, and they did it. So what an incredible way to support your team. Yeah.
That's so exciting. So now we've talked about picking an event. We've talked about setting goals, both for yourself and for your team. You have your table display set up. You've done your power pose. You feel confident in what you're about to do. Here come the people. What do you say? You just stand there? No. We have come up with a couple of key openers. Openers don't have to be crazy. Super simple. Keep the conversation light. But hi there. You must have a pet. Tell me about them. Great opener. Have you ever heard of pawTree? I ask this question hands down all of the time because people will say, yes, I have. And you're like, great, tell me who your petPro is. Let's call them. I'll tell them that you were here. And if they haven't, you go right into telling them why we are so amazing. Is there something that caught your eye? What did you see? Was it the banner? Was it the picky pet stop here? What was it? And then last, is there something that you're curious about? Because you get a lot of people that'll walk over and they stare at your stuff like this. Like, what is this for pets? And you go, yes, it's for pets. Do you have a pet? It happens all of the time. But one of the things that I remembered from Melissa Davis back in the very beginning of my business, in fact, it was Trisha and Melissa and I were sitting at Black Bear Diner, and I just was fumbling my words. In fact, I used to vomit pawTree all over people. They needed to know about everything in 30 seconds. And Melissa Davis once said to me, she says, Elka, you can't say enough wrong things to the right person. Take that with a grain of salt and go into and start having conversations.
Okay. Have you noticed that they're all questions? So is there a theme here with the last couple, the other leaders in the company. Questions? Okay, so I really want to highlight the picky eaters because this is something that I found is really, it's going to be a boost to your vendor event for sure. If there's only one sign that you can pick, definitely make it be this one because it's an automatic funnel. Show us what happens. What you showed me last night.
So this is what happens. So people will be walking along and they'll see that they'll look over and they'll see and they'll just beeline it straight to your table.
And then guess what else they do?
I have a picky pet.
Yeah, they declare it. They're not, sometimes they'll just look and then you're wondering, well, do they have a picky pet? But a lot of times they'll be like, I've got a picky eater. And you're like, okay, well, tell me more about that. And then they'll tell you all their food, how they feed the food. And he eats hamburgers with me every night or whatever it is. But it gives you an idea of who you're talking to. So the picky eaters, you want to make sure that you say things about the paw pairings to them. Like, this is what I love from Cindy Bacchus. Let me show you what we're famous for. I love that.
Those words have sold thousands of dollars of paw pairings. Go say those words.
Yeah. Let me show you what we're famous for. Have you ever seen these before? And the other thing, too, is you can say, oh, you have a picky pet. I love to use this. This will change everything for you. Because these people, they are going to try it. And guess why? Because they have tried everything else under the sun. And they are still looking. I do have a really cute story. We did a vendor event recently, and some lady, she actually took samples. It's a weekly one that I do. And so I knew I could give her samples because she said she comes back often. And she came back the same day, and she actually said, this actually works. Everyone else tells me their stuff works, but yours really did. I went home and I fed it to my pet, and now they're like, I want it, and your stuff really does work. So cool. So she bought right away, same day. Another person, she came up the next week. Actually, it was 2 weeks because someone else did it 1 week, or she missed a week or something. Anyway, she came up and she pulled out her samples, empty, and said, this is what I need. This one and this one. And so anyway, our stuff works, so it's definitely a huge driver. If you want sales and someone says they're a picky pet, you should treat it as, this is a sale, I need to just close this, okay? You can, one thing I also like to do is say, well, how much time do you have? Because then you can go into issues and that kind of thing. One thing about vendor events that's tricky is it can be high traffic. It can be so many other things they want to go see, and they really are going to spend limited time. And if you can get a sense for if they're in a hurry or not, then you can get a sense for, okay, do I go into some supplements and, do the upsell? Do you have time to do that? Or is it something that you just need to say, okay, just get this, let's get it done, and send them on their way?
But even with the new signs that we've designed, a lot of those new signs are really there to help start conversations without you doing it. So as people approach, and maybe you are by yourself, as people approach and there's 5 or 6 people, I've been to a vendor event with Tracy where there was 40,000 people that came through, and we couldn't handle it. We were very understaffed at our booth, but I'll tell you what, those signs will start conversations. They'll see the 100% money back. They'll see this. People will stand and wait to talk to you. Absolutely stand and wait to talk to you.
They will. Okay. So, yeah, you can go over that. Do you want to go over that?
Yeah.
We're just, we're shorter on time.
Whew.
Go for it. Do it fast.
All right. I can't talk that fast. Now I'm nervous. So you've opened the conversation. You've shared paw pairings. Now it's time to ask, right? So here are some of the things that when they're totally prepared and ready to buy, you can say, look, are you ready to try it? If it doesn't work for your picky pet, you're no worse off than where you're at today with our money-back guarantee.
I know, we went back.
Yeah,
we're still on this slide.
It's totally okay.
Believe it or not.
Or you can say, our event special today. Even though we have the 3 for $30 all of the time, make it an event special only. This is great. Hey, you can buy 3 for $30. Normally it's $44.97. It's crazy, but you're going to get a great deal, and these are the 3 varieties that you're going to get. And this month, and guess what? If you're not happy and it doesn't work, you get your money back. Let's get you started. One of the things that I've learned through all this, listening to Amber about her team and watching my team and even doing myself, the key really is to stop objections before they start. How many of you guys have gotten an objection and been froze?
Whoa, pause. Write this down. This is brilliant.
This is not as brilliant as our picky eater sign, but we'll call it equal. But you have to stop an objection before it starts. So if a customer says, well, what if I'm not happy with the products? Well, you're going to get your money back. What if a customer says, well, it's too expensive? Well, you just told them they're getting a good deal. They're saving $15 and they're getting free stuff People love a good deal. It's a mindset thing. And if a pet comes over and they have a picky pet or sore joints or excessive shedding, guess what? You have a solution. We are in the business of selling a solution, having conversations, and being confident that our products truly change the lives of pets.
Okay. So there's another scenario. Say somebody doesn't come up to you and they don't say, oh, I have a picky pet. Then here's something you do not want to say. Are you ready for this?
Write it down.
Don't approach somebody that you're not sure, they haven't declared it. Don't say, do you have a picky pet? Because if you ask them that and they don't, they automatically think, this doesn't apply to me. Okay,
I don't need this products. Have a good day.
So if you're not sure, that's where all the questions come in. Oh, what caught your eye? Is there something, you're looking for? All sorts of questions. Try to get a sense for that person. But don't ask them a question that the answer could be a straight out no, a flat out no, and they think that's what you're there for. So then what you want to do, hang on. So here are a bunch of questions. You can say, have you seen these before? Have you ever worried about your pet and wondered if there's anything more you could do? I love that. That's similar to Trisha's.
Trisha.
So thank you for that. That came from her. How would you like to add nutrition and variety to your pet's bowl? It's getting them thinking. So you can ask all sorts of questions. Backing up. So as soon as you figure out that they don't have a picky pet, then you focus on the variety and the nutrition. And that's when you would say, how would you like to add nutrition variety? It's always a good idea, that kind of thing. And then what else? What are we famous for? We're saying, you don't like to eat the same thing every day, and neither do your pets. So that's where all those come into play. But you definitely want to just know that you don't want to ask those questions that the answer could be no. And we have a couple more of those that we'll talk about in a minute. Okay, this is a fun one. Okay, these are beautiful. Guess what? They don't have to be beautiful. Why is that? Do people take these home with them, stick them in their pocket, and they're going to go to their website? No, this is what I feel like is imperative to understand about these. These are created for us. They're beautiful so we look professional, but this is your tool that will help you remember everyone you've talked to. I have done, earlier on, I did multiple events, and I thought, I'll remember everybody. Now I recognize that my memory is so terrible that as soon as they walk away, I'm like, what was her boyfriend's name again? So
how many of you guys have ripped off the tell me about your pet slip and hadn't, grabbed samples? Because I tell them, and then you have nowhere to write or your pen doesn't work. This quick order guide will truly change everything about having conversations.
Yeah, so there are two things. This is for you. This is to help you be able to reach out to them after they've purchased, or if they are just interested and you got their information. This is for you to help build that relationship no matter what they did. I like to write down things like, oh, cute couple from Denver just visiting. They have two, a cat and a dog, and one is itchy, and it goes on and on and on. So anything that you can remember, you write that down, because then when you find yourself calling them again, you can say, hey, it was so great meeting you at such and such, and, how's Rocco doing? And, you can get that relationship going faster if you remember little details about them. It just shows you care, and it makes it that much more meaningful. The other thing that this is a huge tool for is this is your guide. Did you cover everything? Because just as Trisha and Krista and Roger talked about a while ago, we do want to be able to upsell. So this has the questions that you want to say. Oh, and here, are you ready for another question you do not want to say? Ready for this? Does your pet have any issues? They talked about this a little while ago too, and we found the exact same thing. Does your pet have any issue? Because what's their answer?
No.
Never. I am such a great pet parent. I do everything right, and my pet just doesn't have any issues. Mm-hmm. And so you don't want to ask that question. Instead, you want to use this quick order guide and say, are any of these familiar? Is there anything specific you're looking for? Because we actually, we can take care of bad breath, and and then I show them the paper, and I'm like, and they look and they think, and you'd be surprised how many check marks. And so if they came in and were drawn in because of the paw pairings, that's when you say, this is what I love. And this came from you, Trisha. I don't know if you remember this. This was a long time ago, but I use it all the time. She held up the paw pairings, and she said, this is actually your ticket to free shipping, this 3 for $30. And she held them up. You can get these at this discount, add anything to it. It all ships for free. Pretty cool, huh? So it's a very easy way to introduce the 3 for $30. You can go into easy ships, but I absolutely love that.
I want to tell a story about this. So I wasn't sure about these quick order guides. I was like, yeah, I do enough talking. I don't need to have more paper in my hand, right? So I printed a couple of these out and I put them to the test. I went to a vendor event before we came out here. And of course I went in there going, I'm going to have hundreds of dollars of sales. Well, I walked out with $100, more than $400 in sales. And here's the cool thing. This guide not only helped me guide my conversation, but I also upsold every single 3 for $30 that went through my booth. I went from, you're welcome. So one of the cool things is you don't really need just, $30 in sales, but this gave me the Wild Alaskan Salmon Oil, the GastroPro Plus, and the joint support, hands down, are the 3 most top-selling items next to the paw pairings. And what I loved about this is, hey, I used Trisha's words. This is your free ticket to shipping. The 3 for $30, you're going to save money. And remember when you said that your dog had excessive shedding or sore joints? You're already getting free shipping. Let's throw it on. I went from a $30 sell to every single one that came in. Not only was it free shipping, easy ship, but it was a $100 sell. So I love these guides. Utilize them, and you can even do it at the coffee shop. You can use these guides everywhere you go.
Yeah, another thing that is cool. So say they are excited about the paw pairings and they're like, okay, I want to buy it. Another thing you can say is there anything else you might be interested in, because you already can get free shipping with these? And then they're like, oh, is there? Because I'm already going to buy this. And they'll look and ask more questions. That's another thing that you can do as well. Okay, so that is your tool. You have to have. Okay, so Elka, I'm going to quote the person on stage with me right now. This is what, when we had so much fun putting this together, by the way. Oh, and I'm throwing my papers
Tom.
as well.
I know, Tom,
I think
later.
Tom was afraid to come today, actually, to be honest. But anyway, okay, so this is what Elka said when we were talking about vendor events. She said, oh my gosh, I would much rather call and follow up with a new customer about how they like their products than, oh, please, come on, pretty please, will you buy my products? It was cute how she said it. Your chances of making a sale are much higher face-to-face than over the phone. And imagine this, kind of just, oh, come on, later. So just know that building that relationship and making that sell in 5 minutes or less is a really valuable tool to learn. It really is, especially when we're going to have rooms packed of people doing paloozas and talking to all these people. This is a great place to practice being able to talk to people fast and understanding what to say, how to say it, and how to get to know them really quickly as well.
I agree. I totally agree. So what happens if somebody comes up and says to you, Amber, can I buy this right now and take it with me?
Okay, this happens all the time. And Elka and I both.
Here, I've got $15. Can I have it right now?
And how many of us have like 10 of everything under our booth? No, nobody does that. So if they take it, that means you have no more 16-ounce salmon oils to show the rest of the world. So this is what I like to say. Actually, these are for display only because we actually have 100% money-back guarantee with any purchases. We actually purchase it on your phone right now, and then it's shipped to you. And I'll say, we'll send you some samples, and we'll get it shipped out to you right away. So you can say things like that. I also like to highlight, we want everything to come to you as fresh as possible. So these are for display only. So those are some great words that you can share. Elka, what do you like to say?
So you have to remember that this is your business, and people don't know how you do your business, right? So what I like to say is, I'm sorry, I don't sell from my table. pawTree offers 100% money-back guarantee. I purchase it online. I get it shipped with you. I give you a gift today. And guess what? If you don't like the products, you call me. We get it exchanged. We get it returned. No big deal. Tell me about your pet. Right into the conversation.
Love it. Okay, so let's talk about easy ship words that work. So we already highlighted that this is your ticket to free shipping. I use that probably the most. But another thing I like to highlight, and Roger, I hope this is okay. So if you have to come up here and correct me, I'm just thinking, I'm like, I know you left us up here alone. It's your own fault. But anyway, so this is what I do say, and I don't know that this has ever been like trained, or it's just something that I remember putting together. But I like to say, well, the reason why we offer this easy ship is we like to reward our customers for their loyalty. And the main reason for that is, we have a lot of customers, they have to be on easy ship because they feed their pet the food, and food is expensive to buy. So, and we can't be overnighting bags all the time. So this is how we reward people that say, okay, I'm going to be on an auto ship. I'm not going to call you in desperation saying I need this tomorrow, and now we're going to overnight a bag, and it cost us $700. And you know what I mean? Because food is really expensive. expensive to ship. So once they kind of get in their mind, oh, a lot of people on food, okay, and yeah, that is big and it's bulky, and yeah, that would be expensive to ship. And then we always say, you can cancel at any time. Let's just get you the free shipping today. We'll be in touch, and I'll make sure that you're happy. So
I love that.
Does that make sense? And I hope that's okay. So
I'm getting a lot of head nods.
If not,
I think they agree with you.
You're like,
I
okay.
do. So what I like to say is, let me tell you about our free shipping options. And people are like, ooh. And any 3 products on an easy ship is free shipping. We can set you up on a 90-day ship cycle. That way, you're going to get your products. You're going to have 90 days to try your products. And if you're not happy or your pet's not happy, we can get your money back before the next ship day. I will stay in touch with you as your petPro, and we can go from there. There's 0 risk. Are you ready? Let's get you started. One of the things that I've learned is the 3 for $30 coupon is absolutely hands down an awesome deal for all new customers. It's our introductory offer. And I like to focus on setting up a 90-day auto ship. This way they can try it without 0 commitments, and they get that 100% money back offer. Because most people who opt to pay shipping, which we get that quite often, I have, they do it because they don't trust themselves to remember to cancel it, or they're extremely worried that their pet's not going to like it. And if you build trust with them by saying, I'm here to help you, I am your petPro, you're more than just a sell to me, people will trust you, and it eliminates the worry, and they go for it. Remember to handle objections before they start.
I love that. Okay, so we all understand that if people aren't on Easy Ship, that's okay. It's fine. There are lots of benefits still. Their benefit is, you get your new PV. You get, they've tried something. They're going to have an experience. I consider retail purchasers, just more like this glorified sampler. They've sampled something, but now it's time to build that relationship. That's where you go back to your paper, all your notes and that kind of stuff, and you build that relationship. You just don't want to have them hanging out as a retail customer forever. This is where the customer care comes in, because then guess what? Next month they may be your Paw Club member. So it's still great if they are a retail customer.
And I like to think of retail customers as potential Easy Ship customers. You can put a reminder in your app to follow up with them and make sure that they love the products, right? 7 to 10 days after. You can add another reminder in 30 days. I mean, how many of you guys, maybe this is just me, I run out of face wash while I'm in the shower, and I forget that I need to get it until I'm in the shower the next time. Think of paw pairings the same way. As people run out of paw pairings on a retail, just a one-time purchase, it's up to you to follow up with them in 30 days. Because if you do that a couple of times, you could be like, hey, why don't we just get you on an Easy Ship and save you money?
So I wanted to talk about samples really quickly because this is a big one. I've lost a lot of money just giving samples out and not getting any customers. But anyway, yeah.
How many of you guys have been at a vendor event?
Yeah,
Actually read your declaration. There's one. I can't remember which one it is. I apologize. I wrote them. I'm sorry.
And
but how many of you guys have just thrown samples at people?
Go to the website.
You get paw pairings.
And I'm never going to see you ever again.
Yeah, but here you go. Call me. Here's my card.
Yeah. How many of you done that? I have done that. I did that quite a few times before I realized I'm like, this is not adding up. Like my making money versus spending money is just not, it's just not working out. And then anyway, so be okay with someone coming by, and that you get that sense. One thing about doing vendor events, you can start to read people. You can understand where the conversation is going. You can see when that light dims or the interest kind of goes away. It's so interesting. They come in excited and then, so be okay with, look for us other places. You don't have to give them a sample. You can say, thank you so much for stopping by. Another thing, some tricky words. This is something that's kind of fun. If you have a team member there and someone is like, they find out you're online and they're like, I'll just go purchase online. Here's a little tip. If you're working with somebody, or you can do this yourself, but I feel like with a team, it's really fun to do. Someone's making a sale. You can tell things aren't going like, okay, they're going to purchase right away, but they're like, I'm going to go online. And they're like, no, I don't want to give you my info, or they're kind of, I'll think about it. You can say this. You can be like, hey, Nancy, why don't you send them the 3 for $30 link? And they're like, yeah, I want that. And they're like, okay, just write your name and your phone number there. And you got their contact.
Boom.
so anyway, that's a sneaky thing to do. Just, say however you need to say it. So they're like, yes, I want the coupon. Would you like me to send you the coupon? Okay, just write your phone. I'll just text it to you. Actually, I'll just text it to you. And then all of a sudden you're like, Debbie lives in San Diego. You know what I mean? So, and then I have had people, they've come to the link later on and they're like, oh, she actually purchased. But you want to get the link to them if you can. So that's a little tip.
So I don't know about you guys, but when I've gone to make follow-up calls after people that I've sampled with, my phone weighs 542 pounds. I just don't like to do it. I don't like to do it at all. This gives us one reason that we don't have to. So how would it be if you could just follow up with the customer who fell in love with the products and be like, oh my gosh, how are you doing? How are you doing today? Well, we're going to talk to you about how to close orders that sells. We've discovered there are 4 ways that we've been able to do this. So make sure you write this down. This is how you are guaranteed to sell. Once you've asked for the sell and everything is going right and they are ready to buy, there are 4 options to purchase. Option number 1, the quickest way, hands down, to place an order is for us to do this on your phone. And people look at you, they're like, what? You're going to do it on my phone? Yeah, grab your phone. Let's do it. Let's go ahead. You text them the 3 for $30 link from your app, and you walk them through the setup. Now, the pro to this is it can be super quick because the customer's information auto-populates on their own phone. Quick, right? Even their credit card auto-populates. It's really amazing when you can walk through the checkout system, make it extremely easy. The cons, I have had people come to me and say, well, if you're just going to send me the link, I'll go ahead and do it later. This is where you come in and you say, well, I'm giving you a gift of purchase today, which we'll talk about really quickly. But one of the other things that I like to do is you can pull up the incognito tab on your phone, on your Google Chrome, and you can place these orders from your phone. You're the quickest one that knows how to run through it. I do this at every event. I pull out my phone, I use the incognito tab, and I'm able to walk somebody through checkout in like 2 minutes flat. I hand them their gift of purchase, and we move on with the day.
Okay. The what?
The incognito tab.
Yeah.
So if you guys go to your phones and go to Google Chrome, in there, it's an incognito tab, so you can click on it, and it pulls up like a black screen, and it does not save any information. So if you're putting clients' and customers' information into this tab, it will not save on your phone. Credit card information, it won't save addresses, and it's a great way to secure your customers' information. Google it.
We've got
It's
50
super
seconds.
Easy. Go. Ready to go.
Seconds. Okay, so now these are just some examples. This is what Elka, she sent me to put up here. Give them their samples, tell them, hey, do you mind, I'll be reaching out to see how everything goes. Is that okay? And they're like, oh, yeah, that's fine. So another thing you say, save my name and number in your phone because I would love to know how things go. Make sure you got your things. And if you have questions, reach out. But once they become a customer, they're automatically placed in your app. So now you can send them a thank you. You can get them on a customer care path, whatever you prefer. But we really are just going to wrap up. The only thing we had left to do is we did have some just like random tips. I'll show you this.
This is what
Isn't
went
that
on in our
crazy?
head.
That's what we felt like when we were
Yep.
preparing this. But we do have a few random tips. We are going to be doing a training, so we'll include those in that. But really, we just want to thank you all. We are so grateful for being here, for all of you, all the work and effort you've put in so that we've been able to learn so much. And it's just been an honor. Yeah. So thank you so much. And go do some vendor events, right?
Let's do this.
Yeah. Okay.